The key is to be strong and secure enough to admit your mistakes and admit your shortcomings. Don't get defensive. Denying the mistake only assures repeating the mistake. We have made mistakes during COVID. I wrote a book on the lessons to be learned from the COVID crisis. I think of COVID as low tide for America. Do you know how when you stand on the beach and you look out at the water and the tide is high and all you see is the surface of the water and the waves and everything looks nice and beautiful? But you stand at the same point at low tide when the water goes out and the sea bottom is revealed and you see rocks and you see debris and you see the ugliness that the water was covering. COVID was low tide in America, and it showed us the ugliness and flaws deep down in our society. And if we are smart and if we are secure, we must now acknowledge the ugliness and correct it as we go forward. COVID low tide showed the lack of trust in the federal government. We have a vaccine on the way, truly great news. But polls say 50% of the American people say they would not take the vaccine if it were available today because they don't trust the way this federal government has politicized the process. So New York and other states, 7 in total, will simultaneously review the vaccine approval with independent medical experts so people know it's safe. Undocumented people distrust the federal government and believe they may use the vaccine process to identify them for deportation. New York must make sure that doesn't happen. We must restore trust in government because a vaccine will only work if people trust the government enough to take it, and that has to be our mission here in the state of New York. COVID low tide in America showed us the federal government's incompetence. We needed to test people for COVID. Remember, COVID tests. But we didn't have enough nasal swabs. Nurses and doctors battled brilliantly in emergency rooms, but we didn't have enough masks and gowns. Now we have to vaccinate 330 million Americans. This is a massive operation, and by far the most challenging to date. For scale, just think about this. Over the past 8 months in this nation, with everyone doing COVID tests, hospitals, doctors' offices, government, we've done 120 million COVID tests. How long will it take us to administer 330 million vaccines? The federal government must learn from its mistakes and dedicate the resources and supplies to get the job done right this time. Rhetoric only goes so far. We don't want to hear anymore. We want actions because it is results that matter at the end of the day.